Hello and welcome to Ask Your Academic. Today's session will cover the MSc Bioinformatics, and we're joined by our current teaching staff to tell you all about the programme. So please use the chat box to ask any questions that you have, and we'll do our best to run through all the ones that have been submitted beforehand. We are recording this session, so please don't panic if you've missed anything. We will be sharing the recording shortly afterwards. So to kick off, Catherine, would you like to start with introductions, please?
Yep, so welcome everyone. My name's Catherine Crouch and I'm the program lead for MSc Bioinformatics. I've been running this program since 2022. Um, and yeah, this session is just for you to have the opportunity to ask me any questions via Naomi that you may want to know before you commit to the program. We also have Leah Salim here. So Leah is a graduate of this MSc. You were on the program last year, is that correct, Leah?
Yes, I was
And
on the program last year.
yeah, okay. So you've just graduated, and Leah will be able to help me answer any questions from a student's perspective.
Sure. Fab. And Catherine, could you give us a brief overview of the MSc in Bioinformatics?
Yes, of course. So the majority of the students on the program are life sciences students, so people who've done undergraduate degrees in various different aspects of life science. We're not really selective about what undergraduate we've done, as long as it's covering some life sciences. Um, the first semester of the program is about giving you a toolkit of computational skills that you can use going forward. So in that we cover programming in Python, we cover some statistics and data visualization and programming in R. And we have a course that introduces you to sort of background of bioinformatics. It tries to link bioinformatics concepts to the molecular biology that you've probably learnt in your undergraduate. So that semester is about trying to give you a toolkit. The second semester is about trying to help you to learn how to apply that toolkit. So the second semester is mostly options or entirely options, things that you can select. And a lot of the courses work by finding a data set and walking you through how to analyze that data set using the skills that you've learned in the first semester. So in that, there are options to look at transcriptomics data, there's options to look at genetics and genomics data, there's a module that follows a drug resistance study. So yeah, there's all sorts of different things that you can dabble into there depending on what your background is and what you're interested in. Is there anything you want to add there, Leah?
Um, in terms of like resources that is available, you have all resources, like you have access to HPCC systems that you want to do things. And this is an intense course, so you have all the access to all the academics, all the teachers all the time, and they are like very, very supportive. Yeah, it's really great. Great. And can I ask, what was your favourite part of your MSc, Leah? So my favorite part was like I was able to get in touch, like whenever I have a question or anything else, I was able to get in touch and get it cleared really fast. So there is a Moodle string going on. So whenever I have a question, I was able to ask in it. And also when I was not able to come to any class. Also, the most of the classes were recorded, so I was able to catch up on it like really well. And for the projects also, there was a wide range of selections, like more than the students there was. So it was really great to have a lot of options to select from for the project. So these are the aspects that I enjoyed most. Great, thank you. And what about teaching location, Catherine? Where are students typically based?
So at the moment, the majority of our classes run at Gilmore Hill, which is the main campus at the University of Glasgow. Depending on, there are some options which may run in other locations, but the majority of your classes I would expect you to be at Gilmore Hill. And you'll find that we're a very, very practical course. So obviously we do have some lectures because we need to cover background concepts, but you will spend a lot of time in computer rooms. actually, practicing writing code and practicing doing data analysis and things. So we have two particular computer rooms that we use very frequently on Gilmore Hill campus, and you'll become very familiar with those if you decide to join us.
Great. Something that I think students are always quite surprised at is the transition between undergrad study and postgraduate study. It can be quite different in terms of how you're taught. So, Leah, can you tell us how you found that?
So my undergraduate study was basically all of biology related. So I am not coming from a coding background. And this course is very much intensive, but I did not feel much pressurized with the structure of this course on how to deal with the coding things now, like while I was transitioning from a biological background to a coding background, because at the first week of the starting, there was a boot camp session, which was like very, very helpful. It just taught us how to use the command line Unix systems and everything, just gave an introduction. And this course is structured in a way that even nobody who doesn't have a coding experience can catch up on quickly. So that was really great. So I didn't feel much concerned about transitioning between the biology background and coding background. And also this course is also biology intensive as well. So there was no missing out on both parts as well. So that was really nice. The transition was very smooth.
No, that's really good to know. Catherine, is there anything that students could do to prepare themselves for when they start in September?
So, um, we at the beginning we assume that students have never done any coding before, so we're not expecting anyone to come in knowing Python or knowing Linux or anything like that. What I will say is that the first semester is quite intense. I'm really glad that Leah said that everything was provided and she was able to get through it, but it is a lot of new concepts for a lot of people, and you may find it slightly smoother if you are able to find a few sort of beginners online courses to do ahead of the first semester. So there are lots of resources available online, which can just walk you through the basics of using the command line or using Python or using R. Code Academy is a very good resource, and W3 Schools is another one. Those are both online resources. And I think there'll be some links to at least some of those in a letter that will go out to you if you decide to accept an offer. So, yeah, we're not expecting you to do anything, but trying some of those things might smooth your transition. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Leah.
So myself, I did look at some courses in W3 schools just to have a understanding of what I will be getting into. But I feel like it's up to them to decide like what they want to do and how they want to approach this. Yeah. I did look at W3 schools. That was like really helpful.
I suppose when you've got the time before you start your masters, it's quite nice to just have a bit of a leisurely look at it, rather than when you start and it's like, whoa, there's a lot of new information to learn.
Yes.
Um, and that you mentioned, Catherine, the optional courses. When do students choose them? Is that quite early on, or do they get a bit of time to sort of decide what they want to do?
So you'll get a little bit of time. We do option selection usually during November. So you'll have had just over half the semester to work through semester one courses and get a feel for what you like and what you dislike. And ahead of the option selection, we give every student the opportunity to have a one-to-one meeting with a member of the teaching staff on the program and discuss any questions that you have about the options and things like what might fit best with your background or what might fit best with your aspirations for the future as well. So you've got some time to think about it, and then there's lots of support happening at the time that we're asking you to make the choice as well.
That's good. And you've mentioned the research project is such a big part of the MSc. Can you tell us a bit about that process? So, how does a student choose their topic, their supervisor, things like that?
So we have a list available of projects. Those are projects that people in the university, staff in the university, have submitted because they think they'd be interesting for a bioinformatics student. We release that list to the students well, I'm actually in the process of doing that right now for this year's students, so late February or early March usually. And then we give students a couple of weeks. And during those couple of weeks, what you can do is contact any supervisors whose projects look interesting to you from the list. You can arrange to meet them and ask any questions. And then there's a process where a student and a supervisor come to a mutual agreement that the student wants to do that project and the supervisor wants to take them. It is also possible for students, if they're interested, to organise their own projects. So if you have something you're specifically interested in, you can contact anyone in the university and ask, are you willing to take me? And most years we have maybe 2 or 3 students who do that. And it is also possible to organise external projects if you want to. So this year we have 2 students organising projects outside of the University of Glasgow as well. That is possible. It's much more work for you as a student because you have to do a lot of the organisation. But do you want to add anything to that, Leah? How did you find the selection process?
So I selected from the list, and what I liked was we were able to have like options, and there were a lot of options, and there were a lot of different areas to work on. So, and it is also good that you can choose your own project as well as you can choose a supervisor of your own. So that is also nice. And the process was actually smooth. It was not much. Just email the supervisor, introduce yourself, and introduce your interests, and just have a chat. And if you both are like connecting and you can contribute to the project well, then that is settled. So that was the process all along for me.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit about what your project was about?
So I did my project is a single cell analysis, as integrative single cell analysis on chronic myeloid leukemia, and I did that at Wolfson Wall Cancer Research Center, which is also a part of University of Glasgow, but it is situated somewhere else. And it was a hybrid project, so I had to go there a few couple of days, and rest of the days I was able to be at my home and complete my project. Yeah.
Great. That kind of touches on one of the questions that was submitted, and it was, are there opportunities to collaborate with faculty across departments or research centres? So I would say very much yes.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're very aware that unlike something like, say, an immunology MSc, where you expect that everyone's going to be wanting to do immunology, we're aware that we have students from a very diverse set of backgrounds, like all areas of biology pretty much. And also usually every year we get 1 or 2 students who have computer science or maths backgrounds. And obviously that means that the range of students' interests is very diverse. And we try to accommodate that in our projects. So we solicit projects from as far across the university as we can. And that means that we have projects from all across MVLS, which is our College of Medical, Veterinary and Life Sciences. And most years we also have a smaller number of projects hosted by supervisors in the School of Computer Science as well. So yeah, very wide choice of projects.
Nice. I suppose that must be quite interesting as well if everybody's got like their own different interests. I imagine that's quite nice in like class discussions when that'll come out. And another thing we've been asked is about assessments. So what kind of assessments can students expect?
So most of the assessments are coursework. We currently have only 2 exams on the entire program, and I have just applied to have one of those removed next year. So I'm hoping that as of next year, there will only be 1 exam. The coursework, for courses that are teaching programming, the coursework will usually ask you to write some code. So you'll be given a particular task to solve, and you'll be expected to write the code to solve that task and submit the code as your assessment. For most of the others, they're often reports. So you might be asked to conduct some analysis and then write it up as if it were a report or a paper with an introduction and methods and results and a conclusion or a discussion. We have a small number of other kinds of assessments. So we've got a couple that do presentations. I can't think of anything else. Do you remember anything else that you did, Leah?
There is a optional for statistics. There is I can't really put it.
Yeah, there's a multiple
Yeah.
choice question on that one. Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Nice, so a little mix there as well. And what about the career prospects? What can students expect to go on to do afterwards?
So quite a large number of our students go on to stay in academia in various forms, either doing a PhD or working as a technician or a research associate in a lab. That can be quite varied, obviously, because we've got a very diverse background of students. People go into lots of different areas of research. Some of those are sort of hybrid projects or programs where you might be going back into the lab and doing something like, I don't know, setting up single cell analysis or setting up some experiment in the lab, but then also going and using your bioinformatics skills to be fully involved in the analysis of that data. We also have students who go into sort of pure bioinformatics PhDs or academics. So those might be things like developing new analysis methods for new technologies that are becoming available, or creating software for various things. We've got a smaller number of students who go into industry. That definitely happens, but probably at a lower rate. And we have some students who leave academia entirely. Often, I mean, coding skills are very valuable across lots of different workplaces. So we do have students who go into, other jobs on the grounds of their coding skills. So yeah, lots and lots of different things. But a lot of people do remain in academia or academia adjacent.
Great, and Leah, what about yourself? What are you doing, and what are your plans for the future?
So right now I am working as a demonstrator for the current University of Glasgow MSc Bioinformatics students. I'm also doing some demonstrations for other undergraduate and other MSc courses which require bioinformatic analysis. And also I do some volunteer work at the MVLS shared research facilities at the NGS laboratory. And also, I also do take up some voluntary single spatial analysis work as well. So if you connect with the teachers that you are interested in, they are happy to help you set up some projects as well.
Well,
What are your plans in the future, Leah?
My plans are to get into a PhD, which as if I found any interesting subjects, and also looking for starting jobs like research assistant or a bioinformatician. So that is my prospect for future.
amazing. Well, best of luck. That is us actually covered all of our questions that have been submitted, and there's nothing in the chat. Is there anything that we've not covered that you would like to mention just before we wrap up?
I don't think I have anything. Do you have anything you wanted to say, Leah?
No, nothing much of now. If there is
Fab.
any questions, I'm happy to answer.
That's great. We do actually have our email address on the programme web pages, so if you do think of anything after, don't panic, you've not missed your opportunity to ask. Please do get in touch, and the team will get back to you with any help that you need. So thanks again to our panel for taking time out of your day. I know how busy you all are. And please do get in touch if you have any further questions, and hopefully we'll see you all come September. Thank you. Bye-bye.